Today, we'll be making corn dogs, but these aren't regular corn dogs. These are carnivore corn dogs. For this recipe, you'll need hot dogs, 2 large eggs, chicken flour, which I'll show you how to make if you don't have it, mozzarella cheese, and pork rinds. We're going to go ahead and get these pork rinds ready. So you want to snip each edge of this bag. This is so that you go ahead and release the air from here. We're going to go ahead and crush these up. And now when you're crushing these, you don't have to worry about fully crushing them, because we're going to use this NutriBullet to get them finished off. Now we're going to need 1.5 cup pork rinds. And when you're filling this cup up, don't worry about overfilling it. You actually want a heaping cup like this. Now let me save you a headache if you have a NutriBullet. You don't want to pour them in like this. You want to take your cup and actually pour them in just like this. This is a mess-free way to pour these in. Now we're going to go ahead and get that 1/2 cup, same method, and you'll notice right here, these are hard pork rinds. When you get pork rinds like this, you want to discard them. Don't use them in your flour. We're going to go ahead and get this lid on, get this closed up, and start crushing them down. We want these to be a fine, almost powder, like that. Once you've got it like a powder, you're going to go ahead and get this opened up. You're going to add your 1/2 cup mozzarella cheese. As you can see, I almost had to make a trip to the store to pick up more, but I ended up having just enough for this recipe. Now we're going to go ahead and give this a couple more bursts. And if you're wondering why, it just makes for a much smoother blend if you do the pork rinds, then do the cheese after. I'm going to go ahead and get this opened up. Once we got it open, we're going to add our 2 large eggs. Now the order of these eggs was also important because you want them on the bottom. The reason is because once we get this closed up and you see, I'll go to flip it, what's on the bottom. Now the eggs are on the bottom. If you put them on the top, you'd have a mess. Now go ahead and pulse or burst your blender until you reach a consistency somewhat like this. The consistency will be kind of like a sticky Play-Doh and will stick to the walls like this. Now we're going to get this placed into a mixing bowl and look at the thickness of this and watch what happens when I just shake it. It stays in until I really force it out. Now time for the chicken flour. We're using this as a drying agent, and if you don't have any of this, here's a recipe right here so that you can make it yourself. Now I ended up using a 1/4 cup in this recipe. That doesn't mean that's what you're going to use. We're basically just going to sprinkle and mix this. You want to use a folding method like this to mix this. So we'll go ahead and get this folded in. Once you've got that folded in, you want to go ahead and add more chicken flour. Now you're going to add it a little at a time, mixing this up. The goal here is just like the goal of flour in your dough, to reach a point in your mixing that you can actually handle this without it sticking to your hand. Now it's time for the parchment paper, and I like to use double-sided parchment paper. Now you want to take your dough and with your hands take it and mold it into almost like a log. So I roll it back and forth in my hands like this. Then I'll flip it and get it in a semi-log form like this. Press it down on your parchment paper. Once you've pressed it into the parchment paper a bit to hold it in place, go ahead and fold your other piece over, or if it's whole like mine, just roll it back and forth like this till you get a good area just like that. Once you've got that down and you know it's going to spread in the area you want, you can go ahead and press this down with your hands. Now as you roll your dough out, try to keep it going in a direction that you want. Then I like to spin the paper and continue rolling it out. Once I've rolled it out to the thickness that I want, I no longer roll, but instead drag the rolling pin across the dough. This will help you achieve a very smooth finish on this dough, as you can see here. Now if you've stayed this long with me, I'm going to show you tips. You're going to take your hot dog, and with your hot dog on it, you're going to use something to trim it to the edge, basically measuring out the distance you need with the hot dog. Now remove all that excess dough. Once you've done that, you want to roll your hot dog up until the seam meets right there. Once you see that spot, take a knife or your cutter and splice it. You're going to make a perfect cut every time, as you see right here. Here's the whole sequence. Go ahead and use your cutter or knife to lift the edge. Then roll out the hot dog until it meets that seam. Cut it. Once you've cut this, squeeze these edges together like this. Once you've squeezed them together, you're going to work your way to the end, squeeze that together. Then, just like a bubble gum wrapper or a candy wrapper, you're going to press all of them together at once. Then simply pinch off the end like that and do it on the reverse side here as well. Then you'll roll these out. Once you've got them rolled out, I like to take the edge and roll it just like that. Then take the end down and roll it around. Roll it again. And here's your finished product. Look at that. It's almost perfect. Now it's time to get some sticks in these corn dogs. Now I'm using skewers here. Now they have that sharp edge and that's dangerous. You don't want to stick those in your mouth. So a simple way to get rid of these is to roll a knife across them while you spin it and then simply snap the end off right here. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that that side is not the side. This is the side you want to put in a corn dog, not the one with splinters right here. So we'll go ahead and get these skewed up. Then we'll get our amazing corn dogs cooking. All right, first method is going to be the air fryer. Now I originally placed parchment paper down, but I would definitely not recommend that. Just go ahead and place it on the tray. We'll get these in the air fryer, and next we're going to fry. Now I understand this is extra virgin olive oil. You guys can use beef tallow or bacon grease, whatever you would fry in on Carnivore. Go ahead and add enough grease to fill the pan to the level that you want to fry them in. Alright, now you want to set this to 340, and you may notice a little bit later here that it's at 375, and that's only because this inductive hot plate is not calibrated very well. Now if you're frying in a small amount of oil like I am, you want to go ahead and do this next step. It's very important. Go ahead and rotate these in the hot grease before you start cooking them so that they're fully saturated in oil. Then slowly rotate them till they're golden brown. So the first two are from the grease and these second two are from the air fryer. We'll go ahead and cut into these and see what they look like after being cooked. The first one here is from the fryer. We're going to go ahead and cut in. Now as you can see, it's nice and juicy inside and has a good uniform coating. Now for the ones from the air fryer. We'll go ahead and cut in. Now this one actually just came out the air fryer, so it's a little bit hotter. You can see I have to manipulate my fingers because of the warmth, but it is nice and juicy. Look at that. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.